In today's episode, the plan is to get this thing started. Let's go. Okay guys, like I said, the plan for today's episode is to hopefully get this thing started. I don't think it'll be today, as far as like today's Friday, but it will be this episode because I am still waiting on one little piece, and that is the injector clip, the injector adapter for the Subaru harness to the ID 1050 injector that I have. I do have a couple pieces that we're going to install right now. I'll show you guys what those are in a second. Got a little bit of hose. Got to put the coolant back into the radiator and then reinstall the battery. So let's go ahead and get to it. I'll show you guys what all I have, and we'll install what we can today until that injector clip comes in, and then we should be able to do a first start. So let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, first thing on the agenda, I have this hose for the PCV system. I don't know if you guys saw last episode. If not, go check it out up here. But I've got some hose that I'm going to use to route the PCV lines from the valve cover. I've got a little T here that I'm going to use to route to the turbo inlet here. So let's go ahead and get this line routed the best we can. We'll cut it up a little bit, route some things in some hopefully clean places, and then we'll move on to the next item. All right, pretty straightforward, just PCV breathers. One end plugs in right there. On the passenger side valve cover, it routes around. I put it behind the AC line just so it'd stay in place. Got a T here. The T goes to the front here and to the breather on the turbo inlet. Then it just goes around the back, all the way back here, around to the driver's side valve cover. So that's easy enough. I think next thing I'm going to work on is this gap right here, because the manifold sits so far back, and the way we had to rotate the throttle body and with everything, it pushed this pipe really far back, so it doesn't really meet up the same way it did before we did the manifold. So I think I'm going to work on, I have this, I just got this 8-inch piece of coupler in, so I'm going to try and fit that right there pretty much. I think I probably should have got maybe one with a 45-degree bend in it. For now, I think this will at least do the trick to get it mated. And then we will move on to the last thing that I have over there in that little box, and I'll show you guys what that is in a minute. Let's get this on. Cool. It doesn't look the greatest. Like I said, I probably should have got a 45-degree elbow for that. It was cheap enough so I can always just order one in the future. If you guys have any ideas, this piping is hitting really badly. Now, let me get a light out. That piping is hitting really badly against the ABS lines, and it won't kind of sit any lower, so it's making the fitment of this front mount intercooler piping really weird. I don't love the way it sits. And down here by the fender, as you guys might be able to see, it's rubbing against the inner fender here, scratching it up and everything, just not really sitting perfectly the way I want it to. So if you guys have any ideas on how to get that little elbow for the ABS lines out of the way, definitely let me know down in the comments, because I would really like to move that to just make everything fit a little bit better. But other than that, all of the hose clamps for all of the couplers over here and all throughout the intercooler piping are tightened up, so intercooler piping is good to go. I just got an alert that the injector plug has just arrived, so let's go check outside, and we will see if that actually showed up. Other than that, pretty much all that needs to be done is install that thing over there in the box that I'll show you guys in a second, and put the coolant in it, and then obviously reinstall the battery. And then I want Janaea to be here to help me with the first start, just in case I have any fluid leaks or anything like that. And that's pretty much it. So stick around. we'll get to what's left. Hopefully we'll start this bad boy. Maybe get it out of here today. Be pretty sick. Keep your fingers crossed. Would you look at that? Perfect timing. Cool, like I said, it came just in time. Really convenient. The injector plug is in, so let's go ahead and get it in. Super easy, last minute install. And then like I said, I'll show you guys what's in this little box right here. We've got oil for a flush and a filter for doing the flush. And basically all that does is just get all the gunk and little random bits that might have got contaminated while rebuilding the engine and everything. That just kind of circulates it all around, gets it through the filter and drains it out and everything. We're gonna run it for about 30 minutes and then we will put in break-in oil. But the break-in oil will probably be done another day. So I think we're just gonna show you guys the first start today or either first thing in the morning, depending on how far we can get this evening. But let's go ahead and get this injector clip installed and then I will show you guys what's in that box. So that's finished up. I guess let's go ahead and open this box. I'll show you guys what we got. So, like I said in the last video, we needed a reference or a source for a couple vacuum lines. One for the blow-up bypass valve, one for the fuel pressure regulator, and one for the boost gauge. So, I bought this really cheap, simple, easy vacuum block, manifold, vacuum manifold, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to install this probably somewhere on the firewall and route all our vacuum lines to this. So it should be pretty easy to install. I'm sure you guys can figure out, you know, what this does and how to hook it up and everything. So I'll get it put on and everything and we'll come back to you and I'll show you guys what everything looks like buttoned up. We'll get the oil put in it, coolant put back in it, and we should be able to start it. So let's get this thing installed. So there it is, guys. Not the neatest thing in the world, but I will tidy up the location a little bit later. Maybe tuck it behind here and zip tie it or screw it into the firewall or something. But this is the vacuum block. Normally you would have your intake or your reference come out of one of the ends, but the only fittings that would screw into the ends were very large. And my reference right here was pretty small, so I would have had to get a plastic fitting to shrink down the size of the hose to adapt to that fitting. So I just ran the reference to one of these ports here on the front. So these are the only 4 that I have running. All the other 3 are plugged off. So one is running to my boost gauge, one is running to my bypass valve, one is the reference, and one is running to my fuel pressure regulator. So easy enough. It's not the cleanest thing in the world, but it'll do the trick for now until I can really take the time to button things up and everything. Got to go run another errand, unrelated, but when we get back, we will put the oil in it. We'll put the coolant in it. If I'm not mistaken, we should be able to give her a start. So stick around, we're almost there, and let's get her done. Sweet. It's got coolant in it. It's got oil in it. It's got a filter. As far as I know, everything is plugged in. I'm gonna hand this off to Janaea, and I'm sure there's something I forgot that we're gonna have to button up, but cross your fingers, boys. Let's give it a crank.
I'm so excited.
Okay, I'm an idiot.
What'd you do?
I literally just disconnected the fuel pump fuse. Why did you do so that? I could crank it over and prime the oil filter and everything. So I cranked it, but that's why it didn't start. So
Oh, I see what you mean.
let's put the fuel pump fuse back in. Looks like I pulled the wrong one anyways. I don't know what FBF6 is, but all right, let's try it again. It cranks. Only thing I can think of is that maybe I crossed the feed and return fuel lines. So let me pull those off really quick and we'll see which ones feed and return, and we'll swap them around if needed. If not, I'll pull out my scanner and see if there's any check engine lights on or anything like that. And we'll try again, but we're making progress, boys. So let's see what the problem is.
We know she cranks.
All right, just like I was thinking, I pulled the feed and return lines off and I had them swapped. So let's go ahead and try and crank her one more time, see what happens.
Oh my God. Nothing brings me so much joy. I'm so excited.
She's alive, boys. She's idling a little bit high. Air fuel ratio hasn't started to register yet. Not sure what's going on with that, but she's running. We'll give her a minute to kind of settle down a little bit and we'll go from there. She's alive.
I'm so excited. This literally makes me so happy.
I think I hear a little bit of an exhaust leak, so we'll have to see where that's coming from, but not a big deal. All right, guys, I think that's gonna do it. Pretty much all we have left now to do before we can go for a test drive is drain the flush oil that's in it now. We'll let it run for a couple more seconds and then I'll do that. But we've got negative 10 pounds of boost. Not sure why this AEM gauge doesn't have a negative sign in front of it, but it is in the negative 10 pounds of boost range. We've got no check engine light on the dash. We've got normal idle back down below 1,000. Not sure why AFR still isn't reading, but I'll look into that later. Everything is looking good. Temperature's staying normal, as you guys can see right there. And engine sounds like it's running pretty dang smooth. Obviously, I don't know if you guys can hear it on the video, but we've got a little bit of a exhaust leak. But like I said, no big deal. It's all just minor stuff. Everything seems to be working properly. I'll just adjust the clamp and fix that later. But like I said, guys, earlier in the video, hopefully today was going to be first start. I really didn't expect to get it started today. This is all on Friday that you guys are seeing this. So really good news that we were able to fully start it and get it running today. Hold on, I'm just gonna go ahead and shut off the car. Like I was saying, everything went really smooth. I was able to get the whole car started and everything buttoned up today, which is awesome. So if you guys enjoyed this video and are happy to see the WRX running again, definitely leave a like down below. Comment purple Subaru, and stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel to see more on the WRX. There's a lot more coming, but for now I just wanted to get it started and running again so that we could get it back on the road and go to some meets. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I appreciate you guys tagging along for the revival of this WRX. Like I said, there's a lot more coming for it, so definitely subscribe to the channel if you're interested in seeing more of this build. But for now, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.